So this is what training in the Northwest is like. That's for sure. Moving.
Green body, yellow head. Green body, yellow head. Yellow body. Green head. Green head.
He's a big fella.
Activate. Yes. White head. Nice.
Let's go. Get that rifle up.
Purple body headshot.
Purple
Purple body headshot.
Get that rifle up. Get them shots off. Put it on the deck.
Activate.
Let's move. Move in.
Left activator.
Hell yeah. That's nimble. Yellow body. Switch hands. Switch hands. Switch hands.
I like watching this. Green body headshot.
Give me one more in yellow body.
Wait, what?
White head. Activate blue. One shot. So there's a lot of stuff going on with the pistol braces right now on AR pistols. Okay, the ATF is doing what they're doing. Politically, it's a target right now. I got all that. It seems to be like a never-ending cycle with this stuff. So what I found out this weekend, all right, I did a vehicle CQB class, and I came to the realization that I don't absolutely have to have a short barrel, something like a 10.5 on, like on this one here. It's the Ballistic Advantage 10.5-inch barrel. It's a great gun. I love shooting it. I shoot it often. It's I've had it for several years now, and it works great. Everything's great with it. I love this gun, but you know, everything that goes along with a shorter length barrel in this vehicle CQB class, I mean, you really see it. If you're inside of a vehicle and you're shooting, that little bit of extra concussion you might get from having the unburnt powder with the bigger flash and this and that inside the vehicle, it's exponential on how much it is in such a confined space. So I'm giving up 4 inches from my other rifle, the rifle I was actually using, because that's a 14.5. Okay, so 4.5 inches, and I'm giving up some stuff. And some other people I watched, they had some short or pistol setups and things like that. We had a couple AK guys out there. Really cool to see everybody else, but you see all the people's struggles too. You see everybody, everybody's a little different. Everybody shoots a little different, and you see where other people have a hard time, where other people might not. Super short guns. There were some that were even shorter than this. They had a hard time reaching up and punching through the front windshield because their firearm was so short. So there's an issue, right? You got a little bit more concussion. That's an issue. Obviously, you know, you're giving up some rail space. I don't have the light on here now, which I usually do have it on here. But you're giving up some rail space for your little attachment, things like that. You know, you're not worried about a cheek weld all the time inside of a vehicle, because if you've punched up, you know, you're in such an awkward position. Getting that perfect cheek weld every time might not happen, right? But you're picking up your sights, but you're not, you know, it's not that super flat range stuff. So you compare it to this, which is the 14.5 pin and welded. I'm waiting on a suppressor. I don't know what to say. It's in the mail, right? I bought and paid for it. We're coming up on a year already. So that's a whole nother thing right there. which actually I got this one and that gun set up to run the suppressor. So I really can't wait to get that. Anyway, so this is the gun I ran, 14.5, regular old stock on there, still a little wet. Wow, it was wet out there. I had no issues maneuvering this inside of the vehicle. It went from down on the floorboard, it went from in the back seat, it went from leaning up against the driver's side door. We did all sorts of stuff, different scenarios, and I've done it on other situations too with different rifles, but I had no issue maneuvering this inside of a vehicle, you know, coming up through the front, coming up through the side, going broadside, something like that. I didn't have too many problems. I didn't get held up. If you're just talking about the length of the rifle, you know, because we would start from a stowed position, right? So however you would stow it, something like that. A lot of people did the rubber band thing where they rubber banded up the sling up to the front, which is definitely beneficial. A lot of people got hung up on their slings. But this is kind of how it would ride, whatever you want to call it, cruiser ready, or I don't know what the term is for it, but this is how it would ride until you transition to your rifle, and then, you know, you get to work. So I didn't feel at any disadvantage having an extra 4 inches. I did feel that there were more advantages. I know that there's some things you can get on a pistol that go right here, but this is the one I like. This is the BCM deal here, and I really, really like this the way it is, right? Okay, it works real well for vehicle, for anything, bracing, barricades, for the steering wheel. Put it up there, put it up on the dash. You can even punch it all the way through the glass, and this will hang you up so you don't go too far maybe. In the V-notch between the door and the column there, you can get right there. I really like having this, and you're not gonna have this exact one on a pistol because of the way things are. So that's my 2 cents on it, and that's my user preference, and that's what it comes down to. I think it's always gonna be user preference and what's your situation and what you're trying to accomplish. I took them both out there, and I thought, for sure, okay, I wanna have a backup, but I thought, I don't know if I'm gonna actually really wanna run a longer gun through it, and I ended up doing the whole course with it. I didn't have any desire to change back. The EOTech worked great versus the Sig Romeo 5. That's like an optic thing, so I won't get into that. But lengthwise, I don't see a disadvantage for me in the vehicles I was shooting at that particular day. And that's all it is. You know, everybody's situation is gonna dictate, but for me, that's what that was. So a quick little side note on those magazines. I ran the, I think it's the Gen 2 Magpul. Yeah, the Gen 2 Magpul, no window, plain old magazine. And I don't care what you say, I don't load them to 30 rounds. You do what you want. I also have a couple of these. I want to say these are the most expensive magazine I have and my least favorite. I just don't like them. I can't really put my finger on it why I don't like it. I did have an issue. I don't remember what it was. I think it was something to, when I was one of those deals where you got it overfed or topped off all the way to 30 and it didn't want to seat or something. And the plastic on these, I don't know. I just don't like them, my opinion, right? There was a magazine sponsor out there, Durmag, and they were giving out magazines, free magazines for everybody to use, to try, run throughout the day, loaners, whatever you want, send a bunch of magazines home with everybody. So I picked up a couple of these, and I gotta say it was a nasty day, and these got used a lot, especially on the loaner guns. There was a bunch of loaner guns out there for people to try too from Stag Arms. And these magazines, they're pretty solid. I don't know. I didn't use it, but I still got them in the baggage. But I saw everybody using them, and man, they held up just like the Magpul magazine, right? Because I guess that would be the gold standard. So if you're holding the Duramag to that, and the one day that I saw them used, they look good. So if you're looking for magazines, check those out too. I don't know. But my opinion, I don't know. So I think the most important thing is to get out there and practice with your equipment that you already have. I don't think running out and buying the newest, hottest stuff is always the best thing. Take what you got. Go to a course if you can go to a course. If you can't do the courses, that's fine. Go in your driveway and just maneuver around your vehicle. You'll look funny to your neighbors, but maneuver around your vehicle with your kit and how you plan to implement that stuff. If it's just a concealed carry deal for you and you got a short 10, 7-inch, whatever length barreled pistol AR in a backpack, do that and deploy it, whatever. Just use your stuff and see what's going to work for you. And I would definitely not limit yourself to what everybody else is doing. So if a 16-inch gun works for you, if an 18-inch gun works for you in the vehicle, do that. It's whatever you're training with, whatever you're comfortable with, and whatever you have, obviously most important, because if you don't have it, it doesn't matter. So then you're not using it. So just get out there and give it a try, man.